reflect on. And you can see that every computer Watson is nowhere near this particular individual. And it may be qualitatively different rather than merely being able to remember more. I mean, the fact Einstein did not have access to 200 billion web pages, but he still did a pretty good job as a 26-year-old. When we look for exceptional individuals, it's not just about computing or think. It's also ability to live a long time because it takes us small time to accumulate these important memories. Here are some individuals, and you shouldn't take off from the slide, that the way to live over 110 years is to smoke and drink. But the point is that you can, despite no matter what the environment is, no matter how many infectious agents they've been exposed to, and other risks and everything else, all humans, they have potentially protective genetic and environmental components that we need to define these. We want to be able to share this information and possibly as therapeutics. Now, those supercentenarians and centenarians that are over 110 years old are being sequenced right as we speak. We don't yet know what rare protective alleles they may have, but we do have some examples of rare protective alleles that are already understood in some detail already. For example, myostatin and SCN double dolls knocking out both copies of the low from your mother and father results in people with very large lean muscle mass and very low probability of atherosclerosis. These are very rarely a handful of people on the planet that are known to have this in their health disorder. They know in every other regard. LMP5, if you've ever seen Bruce Willis in Unbreakable, that's actually based on some rare individuals that have this heterozygous state where they are at extremely unbreakable health. They are H-standard deviations out in low density. PCSK9 is a mutation that's inspired the drug industry to develop a new type of anti-coronary artery disease because these individuals have such incredibly low levels of bad LDL cholesterol that some physiologists were surprised that they were alive, and on the contrary, they had extremely low coronary artery disease. CCR5, we'll get his own slide, but double nulls of CCR5 and double nulls of MT2 are resistant to some very serious viruses, HIV and norovirus, for example. And APP is, certain versions of APP puts you at risk for Alzheimer's, but the reason it's on the slide is that certain versions that make you can delay Alzheimer's by a factor of 10 to 15 years. So all of these are rare protective alleles. They're not the rare deleterious alleles we normally hear about in genetics. Now, we selectively breed organisms like dogs. There could be 1,000-fold difference in the weight of adult dogs. We also selectively bred ourselves, and so there's big parts of the world that we're malaria resistant, so we have persistence of the enzyme that allows us to train milk for adulthood. These are selectively bred, somewhat natural. They're genetically engineered organisms as well, like these blowfish. And Benjamin Brown was one of the first genetically engineered human beings. He got a stem cell transplant with a CCR5, which is the receptor of the AIDS virus, and having tuned up, he had the unfortunate situation of being both having leukemia and HIV. Treating his leukemia resulted in this treatment for AIDS, which is now generalized in that somewhat serendipitous situation to a molecular machine called zinc finger nuclease. It will go in and target both copies of your CCR5 gene so that your T cells, the cells of the HIV virus normally attached in your immune system, don't have the HIV receptor, and so they selectively survive this, and you become cured. Not something that multi-drug resistance and vaccine trials in HIV have not proven quite as effective as we hope, but this is something where you literally remove the receptor. This is in phase 2 clinical trials. This tells us pretty far along, and it is curing AIDS patients. And it's interesting, and not only is it more precise than any previous gene therapy, but it's aimed at an insertion augmentation. It's not curing some rare disease, rare deleterious thing like cystic fibrosis, sickle cell. It's aimed at all of us in a certain sense are susceptible to the AIDS virus and other viruses. The next step in this is CRISPR. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but listen, it's like, in graduate plastics, remember the word CRISPR? Okay. It's another way of doing this. It's about 100 times easier and about 10 times more efficient than the method that's already in phase 2 clinical trials. So this is going to allow human genome engineering on an unprecedented scale. We can also make tissues. This is an example where in a mere 4 days we can take human skin-derived stem cells, which is actually from my skin, that's turned into embryonic-like cells that are adult-derived, and then they're turned into these bipolar-like neurons using go through neurohuman pathway. Now, as I mentioned, those stem cells are derived from the Personal Genome Project. This is world's only open access source for genomes, environmental trait data, but not just data, interpretation software, and these cell lines. These cell lines are broadly distributed internationally. The NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, and the Food and Drug Administration have had a unique new collaboration to produce standards in this field called Genome in a Bottle. You can go to genomeinaBottle.org to learn more about this. And they looked over the world for suitable samples, genomes, and cells, and they found that this Personal Genome Project was the only one that was properly consenting individuals for this kind of open project where you can share it and make international standards. This is an example of the annual meeting we have where the Personal Genome Project volunteers. I know many of you in the audience are in this. They're invited to come, and unlike most medical settings where anonymity is promised but not necessarily delivered, here they can bring in and actually say, hi, I'm PGT. And it produces a much more participatory environment where people can share their information. And so this is genomes, environments, and traits. An example of a trait that's relevant to this conversation is functional magnetic resonance imaging. It's unfortunately a low resolution, but it is whole brain, and it is functional. It tells you it gives you information about what you're thinking in a way that you don't get from any other methods. And here's an example of one of the PGT volunteers in the previous slide with an MRI scan. And you might worry that these are virtual slices, not actual slices. This is my brain, so thankfully they are virtual slices. These are cartoons of actual slices of the mouse brain, which is part of the Allen Brain Atlas project. In this project, unfortunately, they wanted to visualize all of the molecular identification of those cells in the brain, but they can only do one at a time, so they have to do thousands of brains, each one getting one at a time, and then try to integrate that data. But each brain is a unique story, and so that they don't really align that well. It's still a useful atlas, but wouldn't it be great if you could do these thousands of different molecular IDs or RNAs in a single brain, and that way they're integrated. Every voxel, every pixel, every section can be aligned and know where you are. And not just for the RNAs and other molecular identifiers, but what the brain was thinking during that activity, and we'll get to that in just a moment here. There are hundreds of thousands of individuals in the world who have electrodes implanted in their brain already, so this brain initiative that we're embarked on, that Obama helps get going, is already in the clinics. This is the case of epileptic, who also contributed to experiments. In this case, on the top of the slide, you see they happen to, with a small number of electrodes, the ones that Ed just described, they happen to find, by showing lots of images, one neuron that, or one set of neurons that corresponded to Jennifer Aniston images, and not any other images in the control down below. And this is simultaneously very inspiring and very frustrating in the sense that we now know that there's a very high level one, not the lower level ones that we've been talking about so far today, but a very high level connection going on here. But it's frustrating we don't know how many other neurons are involved, what other images would produce, and how the whole thing fits together. For that, we really need to measure every neuron and at appropriate speeds and long periods of time. And that's what the brain is about. It's not just about measuring them, it's also about simulating them, because we need, as Ted mentioned, we need to be able to deal with pathological situations, and we need to inevitably to augment our capabilities of healthy individuals. Here's this long list, similar to the one that Ed showed. Ed Donahue's group has helped this woman who was tetraplegic for decades to now move a robotic arm. John and his colleagues hope to now make it so that she can move her own arm and at high speed and much less awkwardness and currently as possible. This is from Ed Boyden and his coworkers that he just showed you, where you can have arrays, but these arrays are not at the density of measuring all 80 billion neurons in the human brain, or roughly 1,000 that number in the mouse brain. To do that, we want to leverage many different methods, including ones I just showed, but in particular the micro ones that allow you to do this. Remember, the high density and the high energy efficiency. Energy efficiency, this is not about saving control for free. This is about the amount of energy that you can allow to transact in the brain. A factor of a million is a big deal, because the brain only has 20 watts of energy dissipation, so a million times that would not be a good thing. Here's an example with, where one can look at the in situ, so sequencing, we normally take it out of context and sequence it, but here you can do it in situ, and so you can learn about RNAs, other molecular environment in great detail, and we have on the order of, we're not limited to the number of colors, because we reuse these colors in this new method called fluorescence in situ sequencing, so you get effectively 4 to the 60th power of colors, and this is really no different from next-gen sequencing, except that it's in situ. And here's some examples of some human cells, where we look at all the RNAs, and we see all 4 colors at a particular cycle, and if you look at a particular place in a particular messenger RNA, each of these single-strand cells, you can see 1 color. We can, the next generation of sequence devices may well be these molecular electronic hybrids with so-called nanopore sequencing, where we have DNA polymerase that helps couple science channels, and you basically convert DNA information into ionic information into computer information, so it's going from DNA to ions. But for the brain, we're interested in the opposite. Going from ions to DNA, we now have molecular nano devices that can do this. They can go from light to DNA, and they can go from ATP, other small molecules to DNA, to ions to DNA. And these are some of the breakthroughs and postdocs involved in this project. Ions to DNA, we have the ion channels that are going through the spiking, or in some cases non-spiking behavior that Ted talked and Ed talked about. But here it's influencing the fidelity of the DNA polymerase, so that the time series of the calcium, say, turns into a spatial series of changes in the DNA sequence, which you can then later read out or compute on. This is, again, a million times denser and a million times higher energy efficiency. So this is the brain. Here's some data taken from a much bulkier paper showing the effects of calcium sort of in the micromolar range, which is physiological. And we're setting this to new polymerases. And we're, as part of the brain initiative, thinking about the Rosetta brain, where we're not picking one particular winning technology. We're trying to simulate new innovative technologies and integrate them all into one brain and do that over and over again in different brains, in different pathological settings in humans and other organisms. And here's a laundry list of the types of bytes that we need to store this information. If you're interested in brain, uploading and downloading is the kind of absolute minimum numbers that you need to be considering. But it's not out of range. It's not necessarily far off in the future. So we're done. Just a summary. We already augment ourselves extensively. Get used to it. Extrapolation can be off by 5 decades or more, either in the positive or the negative direction. Molecular technology is probably where we're going with electronics, and it's already here. Again, it's 6 months better, and it's improving faster in certain cases. Remember the word, because Maria and I have probably explained it. And neurotechnologies is part of the acronym BRAIN that Mama has got us all thinking about, and it's about a plurality of technologies, including, but not limited to, the polymerase technologies and the fluorescence in situ sequencing I just talked about.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. George Church.
Thank you very much. I will be making some forward-looking statements. Since features in the title of my talk, doesn't necessarily mean I'm advocating them or that I am optimistic. It means that in order to do engineering long-term planning, you need to think about and cautionary tales are in order. Like building a cathedral, you might have